People will lie to get what they want. It's human nature. But have you noticed how some guys seem impossible to fool? While everyone else falls for the perfect story, the fake smile, the calculated display of emotion, these men spot lies like a trained detective. They don't get fooled by flattery, and they never take things at face value. Here's why lying to a Sigma male is like playing poker with someone who can see your cards. Number 1. They let you build your own trap. The biggest mistake people make when lying to a Sigma is thinking he hasn't noticed. While you're crafting your perfect story, adding details to make it believable, he's quietly watching you dig your own hole deeper and deeper. These men won't call out your lie immediately. They won't point out the inconsistencies or challenge your story. Instead, they'll let you talk. They'll nod along, maybe even encourage you to elaborate. Each time you add another layer to your lie, you're actually giving them more ammunition. It's not that they're trying to catch you in the act. They already have. They want you to keep going, to see how far you'll take it and what other lies you'll add on top of the first one. While you think you're convincing them, they're collecting every detail, every slight contradiction, every nervous gesture. They notice how your story changes slightly with each telling, how you overcompensate with unnecessary details, how your body language doesn't match your words. The trap springs when you least expect it. Maybe days or weeks later, when you've forgotten some details of your own lie. One simple question from them, and suddenly, your whole story falls apart. That's when you realize they saw through you from the very beginning. What makes this approach so effective is its simplicity. They don't need to prove you're lying. They just create situations where you expose your own lies. While you're busy remembering which version of the story you told them, they're watching you struggle to keep your facts straight. This isn't about being cruel or playing games. These men simply understand that liars tend to expose themselves if given enough rope. So they provide that rope, step back, and let human nature take its course. When dealing with a Sigma male, your lies aren't just being heard, they're being cataloged, cross-referenced, and stored for future reference. It's not a matter of if they'll catch you in a lie. It's when. Number 2. Their silence makes you reveal yourself. Most people can't handle silence. It makes them nervous, uncomfortable, eager to fill the void with words. While an alpha male might say something to break the tension, the Sigma male is playing a different game. When someone's lying to him, he simply stays quiet and watches what happens. This silence creates pressure. The liar, already nervous about maintaining their story, starts feeling the need to add more details. They mistake the Sigma's quiet for doubt or confusion, so they try to make their lie more convincing. But with each new detail, each nervous explanation, they're actually exposing their deception. Watch how differently honest and dishonest people handle silence. Someone telling the truth is comfortable letting their words stand on their own. But liars, they'll keep talking, trying to reinforce their story, unconsciously reacting to the pressure of that steady, observant silence. It's like a psychological game of chicken. The Sigma stays quiet, maintaining eye contact, showing no reaction. The liar keeps talking, adding unnecessary details, repeating themselves with slight variations, desperately trying to fill the uncomfortable void. Every word they add is another potential contradiction. The genius of this approach is how little effort it takes. The Sigma doesn't need to argue or prove anything. No clever questions needed, no complex psychological tactics, just silence, patience, and observation. The liar does all the work themselves, driven by their own discomfort with that quiet, steady gaze. This technique works because most people underestimate the power of silence. They think they need to actively catch someone in a lie. But Sigma males understand that silence is like truth serum. People will often expose their own lies just to escape it. So when a Sigma goes quiet during your story, he's not confused or convinced. He's watching you decide how deep you want to dig your hole. Number 3. If anything feels wrong, they're gone. Trust isn't negotiable for Sigma males. The moment something doesn't add up, a story that seems off, behavior that doesn't match words, patterns that feel wrong, they don't stick around to gather more evidence. They simply walk away. Most people will ignore their instincts when something feels off. They'll make excuses, give second chances, hope they're wrong about their suspicions. But these men have learned to trust their gut. One lie, one manipulation attempt, one moment of detected dishonesty. That's all it takes. This isn't about being harsh or unforgiving. It's about valuing truth and authenticity above all else. They've often seen that where there's one lie, there are usually many more hidden beneath the surface. The first detected lie is rarely the biggest or the last. Unlike others who might stick around in a relationship or situation hoping things will change or improve, Sigma males quietly step back. No dramatic confrontations, no demands for explanations, no attempts to fix what's broken. Once trust is compromised, they're already gone. This approach actually protects them from bigger deceptions. By acting on the first sign of dishonesty, they avoid the complex webs of lies that often follow. While others get tangled in trying to separate truth from fiction, these men are already moving on to better things. Their philosophy is simple: life's too short for lies and games. If someone shows they're willing to deceive you once, they'll do it again. Instead of wasting energy trying to figure out what's true and what isn't, they invest that energy in connections that have proven themselves genuine. This readiness to walk away might seem extreme to some, but it's actually the most peaceful solution. No drama, no extended trust issues, no complicated aftermath. Just a clean break when authenticity is compromised. Number 4. They understand the psychology of liars. Think about the last time you caught someone in a lie. What gave them away? Most people look for the obvious signs: avoiding eye contact, nervous fidgeting, inconsistent stories. But Sigma males go deeper. They know lying isn't just about false words, it's about human psychology. Here's what these men have figured out. Liars don't just lie with their words. They leak truth through 1,000 tiny signals they can't control. The slight pause before answering a simple question. The oddly specific details added to basic stories. The subtle changes in breathing patterns when touch topics hit too close to home. While others focus on catching lies, these men focus on understanding liars. Someone spinning a fake story will often mirror your body language too perfectly, trying to build rapport. They notice how liars tend to speak in complete sentences, avoiding contractions, because they're consciously constructing each sentence. The real skill isn't spotting the lies. It's understanding why people lie in the first place. Every lie has a motivation behind it. Maybe it's fear, maybe it's gain, maybe it's habit. Sigma males pay attention to these underlying reasons because they reveal more truth than the lies themselves. Watch how they handle suspected lies differently based on the motivation. A lie told from fear gets a different response than a lie told for manipulation. A protective lie is handled differently than a malicious one. They're not just processing the false information, they're reading the psychology behind it. This deeper understanding makes them nearly impossible to fool. While others play checker with lies, looking for simple true or false patterns, these men are playing chess, seeing moves ahead and understanding the strategy behind each deception. That's why lying to them feels like they're reading your mind. In a way, they are, just not in the way you think. Number 5. They challenge your logic without you realizing it. Most people try to catch lies through direct confrontation, but Sigma males, they play a subtler game. They'll ask innocent questions that make your story fall apart on its own. Not aggressive questions, just simple ones that force you to explain your logic. Oh, interesting. How did that work exactly? So what happened after that? Simple questions, asked with genuine curiosity. But each question forces you to either expose the holes in your story or create new lies to cover them. And with each new lie, Your story becomes harder to maintain. While you're focused on your next move, they're setting up a sequence you won't see coming. They'll let you explain your story, then ask a question that seemed harmless at the time. Hours or days later, they'll ask another innocent question that somehow connects to the first one. Suddenly, your lies don't add up. The genius is in how casual it feels. You never feel like you're being interrogated. Their questions seem like natural curiosity, showing interest in your story. But each question is carefully chosen to test the logic of your claims. If you're telling the truth, these questions are easy to answer. If you're lying, each answer digs you deeper. Watch how they time these questions. Not all at once, but spread out naturally through conversation. A detail here, a clarification there. By the time you realize what's happening, you've already exposed the flaws in your own story. This approach works because liars focus on making their stories sound believable, but often forget about making them logically consistent. Sigma males don't attack the story. They test its logic, letting it crumble under its own weight. In the end, you expose your own lies while they barely lift a finger. Number 6. They detach emotionally to stay objective. Emotions cloud judgment. That's why most lies work. They target feelings rather than facts. A sad story to gain sympathy. A flattering comment to lower defenses. An emotional appeal to bypass logic. But these tactics hit a wall when dealing with Sigma males. Not because they don't feel, but because they understand how emotions can blind you to obvious lies. While others get caught up in how a story makes them feel, they focus on whether it makes sense. Look at how differently they handle emotional manipulation. If someone shares a heart-wrenching story designed to provoke sympathy, Sigma males acknowledge the emotions but focus on examining the facts. If someone uses flattery to build trust, they recognize the pattern without feeling flattered. And if someone tries to trigger guilt or obligation, they step back and analyze the intention. This detachment gives them a huge advantage. When you're not emotionally invested in believing someone, you see things others miss. The inconsistencies become obvious. The manipulation attempts become transparent. The lies lose their power. While others react emotionally to news or stories, they first ask, what are the facts here? What's actually being said? What's the underlying motive? Only after understanding these elements do they allow themselves to process the emotional component. But here's what makes their approach powerful. They don't deny emotions exist. They simply refuse to let emotions drive their analysis. They can feel sympathy for someone while still spotting their lies. They can like someone while still seeing through their deception. This balance of emotional awareness and logical analysis makes them really good at spotting manipulation. They're not cold, they're clear. And in a world where most lies rely on emotional blindness, this clarity is their greatest defense. Number 7. They trust behavior over words. Words are cheap. Anyone can say anything. I'll always be there for you. You can trust me. This time will be different. But Sigma males are not the type to be swayed by smooth talk and empty promises. Actions will always reveal what words try to hide. Think of it like watching a movie on mute. Strip away all the dialogue, all the excuses, all the promises. What's left? Pure behavior. That's what these men focus on. While others get caught up in carefully crafted explanations, they're watching what you actually do. The way someone treats the waiter when they think no one's looking. How they act when they don't need anything from you. What they do with their time versus what they claim is important to them. These behavioral patterns tell a story that words can't hide. This is why manipulators struggle with Sigma males. You can't convince them you're trustworthy by saying all the right things. They're not listening to your words. They're watching how you live when you think they're not paying attention. It's interesting how much truth leaks through behavior. Someone claims they've changed, but their actions follow the same old patterns. They insist they're honest, but their instinctive reactions tell a different story. Words can lie convincingly, but behavior always tells the truth. This focus on behavior over words isn't about being cynical. It's about seeing reality clearly. These men have learned that people often say what they think others want to hear, but they act according to who they really are. When someone shows you who they are through their actions, that's the truth. Everything else is just marketing. That's why Sigma males pay attention to what you do, not what you say.